Hello comrades, welcome back, or welcome to my channel rather. This will be the first video and we are going to analyze the modern society. I am not talking about what people believe, what people want. I am simply saying that we will be analyzing modern socio-economic situations and showing them on political compass. The political compass is meant to center the current political situation in the center. But I believe that it is not so. I believe that the current political situation is to the right of the center. Let's get into the compass. Once again, those are not my answers. My answers are extremely far left and far down. So those are not my answers. So let's see. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. We can see everywhere that it serves transnational corporations. It does not serve humanity. It destroys the climate, it exploits people, and it destroys cultures. So, strongly disagree. The society does not agree with this term, with this phrase. Next. I would always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. See, I would not support my country in any way, but the country will support itself whether it is right or wrong. And the society will support itself whether it is right or wrong. And this is why I will agree. However, because there are points when it does not happen, parts of society sometimes successfully rebel against this statement. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Again, with ultranationalism on the rise and hyper-terrorist organizations like Atomwaffendivision still being active, the base, Azov Battalion, yes, Azov Regiment that is even held by the state of Ukraine, the so-called republic that meant to be a democratic country, and yet under Poroshenko, what happened? See what is happening in all of Eastern and South of the Central Europe, Slovenia, Hungary, Serbia, Turkey, Ukraine, Belarus, Albania. All those countries are being ruled by fascists, and I live in one of them. In Slovenia to be exact, and it's shit, okay? And one's socio-economic conditions do depend on their country of birth. Today, if I am born in one country, I am given better material conditions than if I am born in another country. Therefore, there is materialistic favoritism regarding places of birth, and this materialistic favoritism has gone far, really far. From just compare the post-accelerationist, far-right economic, corporatist Western Europe, China, and the United States against the exploited West countries of all other areas, basically. So the society actually strongly agrees with it. Strongly disagrees with this because they think it's not foolish to be proud of it. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Of course, disagree, but the society. Given structural racism in Eurasia, in America, given the success of the neo-corporatist and exploiting upper class in the developing countries, in the third world, we can see that the exploitators all come from, or exploitators majorly come from the areas and classes reserved for the white race. And we can see that the one who is of white race is given better conditions than one who is non-white. Today, one who is white is still treated much better than anyone else. The white race and every question, migrations, economics, natural resources, everything, access to education, is treated as possessing superior qualities. The society does think that the race, the successful race, has superior qualities, and it is not a successful race. The white race is the ruling class, which is mostly privileged, white, cis, heterosexual, neuronormative man, is going to destroy the climate, is going to exploit everyone, and so on. And we have enough of this. This rich class is trying to present themselves as a superior race, and we have enough of this. But the society seems to like it. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. The state is fighting rebellions all the time. Be those rebellions cyber attacks, misinformation, propaganda, or even militant rebellions sometimes. They are fighting every opposition they have. And sometimes they come to fight the avant-garde, the leftist avant-garde. They come to fight the anarchists and so on. They come to fight the social activists. The state fights social activists. And when fascists attack those social activists, the state treats those fascists as a friend of the state. Therefore, the state thinks that the enemy of their enemy is their friend. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Just look at what's happening in Libya, in Syria, in like everywhere. Come on. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Well, the corporations don't really want to stop that, you know. I mean, they think there is a overwhelming fusion of information and entertainment, but they use it in their advantage. They use it to, I mean, you know, fusion of entertainment and information is not inherently bad, but once you start pacifying people and slowing them down and completely sucking them into passive uselessness. This is what corporations are doing, and they enjoy it. They think there is a they think there is a fusion of information and entertainment, but for them it is not a worrying one. So kinda disagree. Now this one is economic, okay. People are people are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. Well, in this society they are, right? Nationality is a complete social construct. There is nothing different in functionality between me and someone from a neighboring country, and there is nothing different between two people of different nations. They are not different. I am as similar to a random person in Slovenia as I am similar to a random person in Austria. There may be traces of there may be traces of inherent, no, there may be traces of some common RNA that shows that we are related to each other. But this doesn't mean anything. This does not change the function of anything. It is a social construct that tells us to only to limit ourselves to people who are related to us, and this is just useless. Why do so? There is not a single reason why to do so. But the society, so people aren't actually divided by nationality. They are determined different material conditions, but that is a class again. They are a class in their material surroundings. Someone is of a high class in some material surroundings, someone is of lower class in that material area. And people there, if you were to mix those areas up, people of same economic strength would not just battle each other. No, there would be a battle for prestige, for economic success. Therefore, people are ultimately divided more by class than nationality in society as well. In this society as well. Oh, we're talking of attitudes. Well, they tell us that supporting a Slovenian with $1 million is more important than supporting an Austrian with $1 million, and that we're benefiting ourselves by letting the Slovenian with $100 million exploit us instead of the Austrian with $1 million, which is the same to us. The society tells us that we are more divided by nationality than we are by class. Well, we are more divided by class than by nationality. So as long as we're talking attitudes, the society disagrees with the statement. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. They do this all the time. Why did they just do... I mean, it did not control inflation, or did it control unemployment for real? Like, those two are interconnected. Once you demolish, if you know what, this question makes no sense. But for the society as an attitude, they're trying to preserve the value of the currency and not employ people. They only care about the profit, making more and more, about the passive profit especially. And this is why inflation is more important than control. It is more important to control inflation in this society. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Now, due to green capitalism, where the company destroys 100 units of environment and then repairs 1 unit of environment to seem environmentalistic, the countries have eased regulations for the companies that do so. Companies that display a green image are not requiring a lot of regulation in this society. They are seen as successful in green companies, and they are trusted to voluntarily protect the environment. Therefore, the society disagrees with this. I cannot say strongly disagree, because, like, speaking of environment, there is enough activism that there is not complete anarcho-capitalist menace of, corporations doing complete mess with the world. Now, I'm not saying that anarcho-capitalism means environmental destruction inherently. There are theories on how to stop it in anarcho-capitalism, but I'm no anarcho-capitalist, I'm an ANCOM, so that's a no-no. From each according to their ability to each according to their need is a fundamentally good idea. I agree strongly, but the society disagrees. The society makes me work exactly, or the society rather makes one work exactly 8 hours per day, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending. Many times it's more, and 80% of this goes to the capitalists. So the first part is not vilified, and the second part is also not vilified, as I do not have everything I need. Many people don't have everything they need. No one has anything. No one has everything they need. The capitalists do, but no workers' needs are satisfied. No lower or middle class needs are satisfied. Only the higher class satisfies its needs with a multiplier of 1 million, basically. So I strongly disagree. The freer the market, the freer the people. The society basically supports privatization of countries, like Slovenia is being pressured for many years, and not pressured, but subventionized for many years to privatize companies and let the market go free, for example. And many countries that had anything owned by the state are giving it over to the corporations. Many countries have their water sources or other natural resources important for survival of the people controlled by corporations like Nestle, Microsoft, Amazon, and so on. It's a sad reflection of our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. Again, the society supports this. Look at Nestle, literally taking over half of Africa. Okay, not half, but basically half of African water sources are being taken over by Nestle. They try to privatize water in America. What if this is a society where the society thinks it is good that drinking water is bottled. It is not being halted against. It is actually Nasty profits of it. So Nasty is basically being almost kind of pushed to do it. It is being pushed by the profit, right? So the society does not think it's a sad reflection. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Now let me drink some water again. In this society disagrees strongly. Here it is a commodity to be bought and sold and exploited, and people on the commodity can be expelled and so on. It doesn't matter. It just matters that the capitalist enriches themselves once again. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. Well, again, this question is saying that it is sad that what is happening in society is happening, and the society supports what is happening in the society because it is happening because the society supports it. It profits the people to be like that, so they are like that. The society supports that, and therefore the society strongly disagrees with this statement. protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade, while in some very little cases tensions erupt and some protectionism is used. This is mostly to protect locally based international corporations on which the state is dependent, because if those corporations just cut off electricity or something, the state will fail. Therefore, the state has to block foreign corporations to protect the corporations that it depends on. For instance, let us take a look at it's Slovenia, which has been building the second rail between two cities in Slovenia for some time. I mean, we haven't been really building it. It's been really just a stupid process. The state has been trying to make a plan and so on, and many millions were lost and so on. But it has been agreed at the end that someone should make it. And Nova Ljubljanska Banka, the new Ljubljana Bank, got the offer, and they will build it. They will be building this railway, and that bank is owned by the New York Bank, the Bank of New York Mellon, and that bank has 30 trillion US dollars worth of banks and monopolies and trusts in its control. And this means that basically if Slovenia did not accept the offer, the Slovenian economy could trample before that, Slovenian economy is worth Slovenian budget is around 12 billion, and then the massive corporate bank with 30,000 billion comes in, offers a trade that is highly valuable to all the citizens of the country, and it just has to be accepted, and it cannot be protected against. So in most cases protectionism cannot be used anymore, but there are some other offers that were protected against to help the Bank of New York Mellon do their business in the country. So protectionism was used but wasn't used. So it was used in the corporate sense, in some different sense. So kind of disagree, but there is still some agreement to it. The only social responsibility of a company should be deliver a profit to its shareholders. Now, again, in this society, this is a truth. The only social responsibility of a company is to deliver a profit to its shareholders at this very moment. The rich are too highly taxed. Now this is just a strange statement, I mean, it is a logical statement. I agree. It is just a strange question when we are trying to figure out the placement of society on the political compass. Does the society, not the state, but does the whole socio-economic structure, hierarchy, think that the rich are too highly taxed? Well, the economic hierarchy does think that. The social hierarchy, that is debatable, because parts of the social hierarchy are so invested in the economic hierarchy that they do not think that. They think that, but parts of the social hierarchy, the middle parts of the social hierarchy, think that. So the only ones who think that are the lower and the middle parts of the social hierarchy. But the higher parts of the social hierarchy and the middle and the higher economic hierarchy think that the rich are too highly taxed. So it's kind of an agree here. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care, In this society, just take a look at the American healthcare and the healthcare of many countries that aren't like the Scandinavian countries or something like that. That is true. People with the ability to pay do receive higher standards of medical care. This is nothing new. Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public. They do sometimes, but especially the small businesses. So they and then those businesses start failing. They're bought by the bigger corporations. Those corporations even exploit even more. So I don't know what to say here, but they sometimes still do. Right? A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. How did I pronounce this sentence? This is just wrong. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Well, in this society, the corporate structure argues, not agrees, but argues that the free market is existent and that the restrictions on themselves are not necessary. Therefore, they strongly disagree with that statement. Now, this next part takes a look at personal social values. I'm going to be talking about I'll be talking from experiences, either personal experiences or experiences of known experiences of groups or people in my country, or what is very common to happen. While sometimes I will know that I'm talking of, I don't know, the world war or something like that. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. This depends on the part of the world. In Slovenia, abortion is legal to some point. But just look at Poland, okay? Or just look at the Visegrad countries themselves. They're trying to destroy the abortion rights, right? And well, because the abortion situation is going downhill, by which I mean that the abortion is more and more illegal and in more and more countries, I'm going to state that because of its tendency, the countries agree at least partially with this. All authority should be questioned. This is the opposite of the for the world, for the current socio-economic structure. This is a thought crime, literally. Try saying that in school, try saying that everywhere, try saying that in your job, and if you go too far with it, you will just be expelled from your position, from your classroom, from anywhere. So the socioeconomic structure strongly disagrees with it. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Given the penalty justice of this society and the lack of rehabilitation and how much people are just being tortured in many places and so on, the society strongly agrees with that statement. I mean, this taking the political compass like this is literally destroying me. I don't know. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. This statement is very dependent on the part of the world one is in. Taxes do exist. and we do pay for those museums and theaters for a reason. I'm just saying that we are not propping up enough of them, and we are not propping them up enough. We are not propping up a radical amount of them, and we are not propping them up radically. So, while the society agrees here, and I agree with the society that we should strongly agree, the society does not. I think that it should be strongly disagree. The society kind of disagrees with that statement a little bit. There's not enough disagreement. It should be strongly disagree, radical strongly disagree. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Well, it is compulsory. So, all people have their rights, but it's better for all of us. The different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. While the lawful statements of the social order, by which I mean the law, sometimes claims that each has their own, that each has equal rights, I must see that full groups of minorities, different minorities based on gender, race, sexuality, nationality, anything, anything, are being discriminated against and do not have the same rights in this society. They're being given not only by the system, by the people themselves. They are being evicted, tortured, assaulted, everything. This is just what society agrees to. The society strongly agrees with this. The people strongly agree with this. The functioning of the society agrees with this. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. In this society, this happens a lot without trouble. Here I'm talking of I'm talking of a very, just from what I know, but from what I know, it is a very bad situation, and there should not be a single encounter, right? But there's constant violence. So, kinda, the society sadly strongly agrees with it. Or rather say the society agrees with it, because there are penalties and so on, but anyways. It is natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Well, the society really does not intervene here in any way, nor not in the functional way, nor in the legal way. So, kind of agree, but there is no some strong enforcement that would enforce that, and strongly agree. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Again, it is in most areas a criminal offense. So the prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generations to find jobs. Currently, it is not to find jobs; it is to produce, which is basically the same, but different, but has different wording. So this one is both yes and no, and that's kind of complex. So, it really shouldn't matter what we answer here. But it kinda is the purpose. The sole purpose right now of one is to get a job and produce for the capitalist. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce the political compasses. The social functionality of physical and other types of assaults, murder, and so on, thus tend to discriminate against people with inheritable disabilities. Therefore, the society does tend to to at least agree with this statement. The most important thing for the children to learn is to accept discipline. Well, this is basically what the education system does. It enforces the idea in your head, the idea of discipline, of order, and it makes you a robot. So yeah, this is what the society basically does to children, other than being completely violent to the children, right? There are no savage and civilized peoples, there are only different cultures. In this society there is only one culture, the culture of the classes. It is the only culture we know other than the pre-Neolithic culture and the post-revolutionary culture. It is the only current culture, the culture of classes. But the society does discriminate against people by their race or nationality in the context of their culture. They talk of culture, of how we should treat different cultures, how people blah 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 blah. And what it comes to is the discrimination by the powers in their homeland, targeting of civilian population by the military, by the corporations, and so on. So this is kind of agreed to by the society, although the cultures and the difference between peoples is erased. There is no peoples, there are no cultures, there's just classes. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. In this society you're forced to work, yes. In this society you are forced to work. You do not get to choose in this society. Those who are not able to work and refuse the opportunity should not accept society's support. Well, this is what society does. You die of hunger if you aren't exploited by the capitalist. When you are troubled, it is better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. This is what the corporations, the media are trying to do. They're trying to pacify you, to make you passive about the problems, and this is exactly what is going on. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. Well, they are put in camps and humiliated, sometimes killed, and so on. So this does reflect our society. What's good for the most successful corporations is always, ultimately, good for all of us. As I said, the society does support the tactic of the freer the market, the freer the people. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Now, this is not true, as there are state media in most of the countries. State-owned media, state-funded media. Although many of them are funded by their own commercials. So that's questioned. Yeah. But again, that's not completely independent content. How is the divided society? Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counter-terrorism. Well, they are being, but the society, does the state and the corporation see it that way? That is very questionable. The society does. Let's go that way. The society tends to curb it even more, to curb them even more in name of terrorism. Therefore, they think it is not curbed enough. Therefore, they disagree with it being excessively curbed. Therefore, they strongly disagree with the statement. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments, the delay process in a democratic political system. Guess what? The United States of America, a two-party system. Half of the European countries sorry. Half of the European countries, a system of parties that look different but at the end produce equivalent results. It would be the same thing if there was just one party. There is no multi-party argument going on. There is just easier control of ourselves that is going on. This is calling the free countries in 1984 like calling them separate countries. To the individual, it does not matter whether all free countries are divided or united. There may only be a single country, and the war for sub-Saharan Africa, or rather say the war for Southern Saharan Africa, might be made up, right? There might be just one country, but nobody knows, right? So who cares there? Therefore, here it does not matter whether it is one party or multiple parties either. They're just like countries in 1984. So kind of strongly agree. A strong party there is. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. This is what state promotes. Should you put agree or strongly disagree? I see no point in not strongly saying that the state strongly disagrees, strongly agrees. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Currently it is in many countries. Not in all though, not in all. But kind of, it is in many countries. So just agree. Because it does not increase the production of that person, but it does. But it does scare the others. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. In this society, this is strongly true, because there is some sort of a social hierarchy. Abstract art doesn't represent anything. That doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Now, this is, of course, a useless point, and even the corporations do not profit of this point. They even sometimes subsidize and support abstract art. So kinda strongly disagree. This may be one of very rare positions where I agree with the state and the corporations. Abstract art is art because it serves the purpose of art, that is to serve our egos. It pleases our egos, therefore it is art. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. In this state it is. In this state of affairs it is more important. It is seen as more important. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. This is exactly what happens. This is exactly what happens in our society. Come on, can I just... Okay. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Well, I can confirm this is what is going on in this society, right? Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. There still is the cis male privilege, but it's just under agree right now, because it's shifting into other fields. Right now, sexism, chauvinism, and okay, anything, like, it is kind of shifting its form. It is changing how it behaves, but it is still here. It is still present. If it was like, sometimes it would be a strongly agree, because the society did operate like this. Now it just partially operates like this, and partially it moved into other fields. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Well, the society does not think that's unethical. The society thinks that's the only logical thing to do. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. This is exactly the thing from before, when we had like in the page 3 we had that children should be taught to respect authority or something like that. This is the same thing. The society promotes exactly that. Now, this is the social religious structure. Astrology accurately explains many things. No, the corporations do not think that. The corporations do not rely on astrology to predict where the gold will be found. So no. You cannot be moral without being religious. Again, morality does not exist. Morality is a social construct. But okay, you cannot have the social construct of morality without being religious. Well, most corporations have sensed that, have shifted to a secular point, because they have sensed that the population has started to use other opium and not religion a lot, and this is good. We are getting rid of the power of religion, of church, and this is good. So the corporations are going away from this statement. The state is going away from this statement. The state and the corporations do support the people thinking that morality exists without religion. I don't think there is an atheist. Morality is a social construct, and it just... morality is like religion, come on. It is very similar. You cannot be moral without being religious. It's therefore not being at all supported by the society, while there are still some remains of the church power and so on. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the generally disadvantaged. This is why the state states and the corporations abuse this. But it is not in general practice out of the corporate taxes themselves. And it is just useless. Some people are naturally unlucky. The capitalist system claims that if you are chosen, that if you are successful, that you can be successful, that everyone can be successful. Therefore, the capitalist system claims that it's not dependent on some luck, that it's dependent on you. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. Now again, the state and the corporations profit less and less of this statement, and they're moving away from it, therefore. And therefore, it's a disagree. by the state and the corporations. Oh no. You can skip this if you want to. So there maybe I needed a trigger warning before you said no, whatever. The marriage is usually immoral. The state and the corporations don't really care about this, so I mean, here I agree with the corporations and the state that it doesn't matter, marriage does not matter. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Homophobia is real, okay? It is strong and important right now, and it is demolishing a lot of society, and it is integrated as a part of society. Therefore, the society disagrees with it, although some areas do allow same-sex couples to adopt children, but even then they are sometimes treated as secondary. Pornography should be legal for adult population. It currently is. Actually, over-sexualization of minorities and unprivileged groups is a big problem right now, and it is problematic. What goes on in a private bedroom is no business of the state. Let us take the whole social structure. Pressure. Social relations between individuals as the state. In this case, the people do care. The people are actually very aggressive about it. Homophobia, transphobia, anything is so great, and everything is portrayed, and everything that happens is portrayed as scandalous. So the social structure does care about it. The social structure does think that it is their business. So the social structure strongly disagrees with it. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Again, homophobia is very strong. I mean, this is just a useless statement right now. It's just a useless statement. Does the society think that they are homophobic, transphobic, everything you can imagine, okay? The society assaults people on basis of sexual preference. Therefore, society is homophobic and strongly agrees with that statement. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. The corporations and the state strongly disagree with this statement, supporting sexualization and openness about sex, which are two completely different topics. Okay? Let us see where the society stands. Ta-da! The society is Nazi. We live in a Nazi regime. Honestly, I expected it to be maybe even a little more far right and more totalitarian, but good job, society. No, this is actually scary. We live in a dystopian far right society. The center is meant to be here. It would be the best if the center was here. The site itself claims to be around here or around here, but come on, Yeah, we live in a Nazi regime. I mean, in a Nazi corporate regime. This is the worldwide Pinochet. Neoliberalism with nationalist characteristics, sponsored by multinational corporations, is just this. Or actually, if we scale it to how limiting those tendencies are to an individual, this can feel almost like here, you know. So this is very logical. So this is the society. Yes, I did just screenshot it. So yeah, we are worse than Thatcher, says the political compass, kinda. If we are like here, you know. And okay, no, to be honest, Stalin should be like here, probably here, and Hitler should be like here, like right here, and Gandhi should be like here, and Friedman should be like here, like literally completely at the right, maybe even right totalitarian. In the sense that economic hierarchy is the most totalitarian one, you can put Friedman over here. But because actually this is the axis of the economic hierarchy, yeah, maybe kinda here, Friedman. We are just here by Thatcher, we are more economically right than than Thatcher is. We are somewhere righter of Friedman. We are pretty problematic right now. This is a crazy result. We live in such a society. Well, comrades, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I am Leslie Zore, I'm Comrade Leslie, and I wish you all a great remains of this day.